afternoon, everyone. This is another practical class in government. In our last class, we were able to establish the fact that the executive is the head of government. This class again, we want to re-emphasize the fact that the executive is indeed the head of government. As you can see on the board, the legislature is only for the lawmakers who make law for the country. And you can see at the extreme end here, the judiciary, which is made up of the judges and the lawyers only. But come down to the executive. The executive is headed by the president, who I told you in our last class is the head of the state, the head of the nation. Under the executive, we have a whole lot of things embedded under it. We have a whole lot of things embedded under the word executive. And that is the reason why the executive is the most important of the three organs or institutions of government. You can see, under the executive, we have the president as the head. These are all the institutions that are working under the president. We have the military. The military is made up of the army, the navy, and the air force. It is under the word president. The military, which is made up of the army, the navy, and the air force, is under the president. And that is the reason why we say the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Also, we have the civil service. The civil service represents the different ministries of government. It is also under the word the president. We may have the Ministry of Education. We may have the Ministry of Health. We may have the Ministry of Water and Agriculture, and so on and so forth. All of these ministries, they represent civil service. The workers in the civil service or the workers in the ministries are called the civil servants, and they are all answerable and accountable to the what? President. Come again, the police. The police or the police, whichever way you want to call it, is also under the what? The president. We also have the customs, those people that stay at the borders to check the coming in and out of goods and services. Those people that check the traveling documents at the borders, they are also what? Under the what? Executive. All of this I mentioned here, they are all under the president. One more thing to understand again is that what? The executive enjoys the monopoly of the use of weapons. Weapons like guns, armored tank. It is only the executive that can use the word weapons. Weapons are not meant to be used by the lawmakers in the legislature. Weapons are not meant to be used by the judiciary in the court. Judiciary is another name we call the court. In government, judiciary is the same thing as court. Weapons are not meant to be used by the court. Neither is weapon allowed to be used by the what? The legislature, the lawmakers. Therefore, the use of weapons is only for the what? Executive. Any of these three military, the army, the navy, and the air force, are meant to what? Use weapons to defend the territories of the country. They are meant to use weapons to defend the territories of the country. The one that defends the country on the land is the army. The one that defends the territory of the country on the water is the what? Navy. While the one that defends the territories of the country on the air is the air force. The ministries, the civil servants, of course, they can't use weapons, but they are also under the what? Executive, as I said. The police, they are also what? Entitled to the use of weapons to what? Ensure the internal security of the what? Country. The customs too can also use weapons. in the various borders they are locationed, so as to what? Ensure and guide against smuggling of goods and what? Services. So this is the reason why the executive is indeed the most important organ of government, because a whole lot of staff, let me put it in that way, a whole lot of staff work under the what? Executive, more than we have for the other two organs of government. For the other two organs of government, the legislature is only for lawmakers, no any other. Then for the judiciary, which is also the court, we have only the judges and lawyers that work there. But for the executive, we have many workers that work under the what? Executive, under the leadership of the what? President. This is the reason why the executive is the most important organ of government or institution of the state. As I've told you, if you want to reach out to me, you can take notes, or you can pencil down my number 080 61 62 13 99, and you can subscribe to my YouTube page, Taiwo Muyideen. Thank you very much.